Alright, so this probably won't be a very long video at all, but if you somehow ended up here, you probably hear from the full review I've done of this, which is quite lengthy. I said I was going to do a teardown, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it apart and see what's inside of here. I want to see what the battery capacity is, as well as the whole sort of motherboard layout and all that sort of stuff. If you haven't seen that video though, click the card up here to be taken to the full review. You can skip through it if you want, but basically what is in here is not what is advertised. That's pretty much the whole gist of it. Anyways, obviously there's no visible screws on here, so we're going to have to take this off to see what's underneath. Now, these aren't really adhered very well from experience anyways. They're not really stuck down, so I might be able to slice through it with a card just around here to get into it. If not, I'll have to use some heat. So just around the device, you can see that there is a noticeable gap between the glass and the frame, so I should be able to slide probably just the pry tool in and just ever so slightly lift it up to be able to get inside of it. Alright, and just using a little bit of heat goes a long way. I've just softened the adhesive ever so slightly to be able to get this little card in between here to separate the glue, and we've been fairly successful. Okay folks, here it is. So the adhesive was actually fairly sticky, and I've managed to get it off in sort of one piece, so I'll be able to just plonk it back down and just adhere it back, so that's okay. But otherwise, looking in here so far, we've got just nothing. The battery is just nothing. And the camera module here, I'll take this off in a second and we'll see what that is. But the battery itself is just connected via two wires that are soldered down. I don't think I'd be able to pry up the battery ever so slightly. There's a bit of foam that's holding down the battery. That's helpful. Oh, here we go. I've just had a look underneath the battery and I cannot see any printed information on this whatsoever. So I have a feeling I'm just gonna randomly guess an 1800 milliamp hour battery, maybe a 2000, maybe pushing it to say 2000 though. But anyways, let's go ahead and pull the top shroud off and I'll see what's underneath here. Now, if I could disconnect the battery, I would do that to ensure that it's all safe and stuff, but I can't do that because it's soldered down and I can't solder. So that kind of sucks. Okay, and lifting the cover off the motherboard, we can see the two fake cameras just there, which are just housed in that little bit of plastic. And then we can see the actual legit camera just here. And this has no movement whatsoever, so it does not have OIS as to be expected. Now we do have this sticker here, which doesn't really, oh yep, there it is right there. 1 and 16, which is 1 gig of RAM and 16 gig storage. So that definitely confirms what this is running, and it's right there. The earpiece here is also a little tiny one as well, very, very tiny square one. The front facing camera is just here with a flex cable. We've got a couple of connectors here to go to the bottom of the USB-C and stuff. But otherwise, yeah, looking fairly basic at this point in time. I'm not going to be able to pull the motherboard out because of the soldered down volume buttons and stuff like that. I'd have to sort of rip them off, and I don't want to do that at this point in time. But you get a fair idea of the cheapness, unfortunately. Yeah. Now, as I did with the P20 Pro clone, I kind of severed the speaker when I was taking it off last time. So I'll probably try not to make that same mistake. It is the same. It is just soldered there. We can also see the Type-C USB port, and yeah, the speaker is there. But it's also interesting to note that there's actually a metal construction inside of the phone. The plastic around the frame here, but then there's actual metal with dovetail joints just going along there. So it does have somewhat of a decent construction, I guess. All right, so at this point in time, I just powered on the phone to make sure it all still works, and I've just noticed there's just a gaping hole just there. Something was there, but it's gone now, whatever it was. Wasn't there when I opened up the phone, but obviously some sort of a sensor would be put there. And I can also see here is what would be a connection, probably most likely for the fingerprint, maybe this one here. One of them would be for a rear-mounted fingerprint. So this is a repurposed motherboard, most likely anyways. That's what they usually do, is just repurpose the motherboard, and that's pretty much it. At this point in time, I'm fairly happy with what I've seen, so I'll go ahead and just put the phone back together. And with all that being said and done, go ahead and put this back cover just on like so. That'll be fine. And finally, just a bit of a bend test. I just want to see. No, It's pretty solid. Nope, that's still all good. So I think it passes. I think Zach from Jerry Rig Everything would be happy with this. I mean, it's plasticky, but it's got that metal frame in it, so it's actually quite sturdy. But there you go. That is the teardown, and I mean, it's not a full teardown, it was just a semi-teardown. I think we all get sort of the idea of what's going on inside of this one. And there's no under-display fingerprint sensor as well, because underneath the battery was just nothing except some flex cables, which I almost severed. That was my bad. Anyways, that's it for this teardown. Thank you very much for watching. It wasn't really much of an interesting video. It's more just for me anyways. I know what's inside of it. That's pretty much it. Alright, well thanks for watching. I do appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next video, whatever that may be. But if you haven't seen part 1, remember to click the card up there and see that first. But yeah, I'm going to go clean the fingerprints off this and let Joom know now that I got a device that's not as advertised. So wish me luck. I'll let you all know if I get a full refund or not. We'll see. If you like this content, feel free to leave a like or a dislike if you didn't. Thanks heaps for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.